Hey everyone, welcome to the Hornet King channel, and in this video I'll be removing a massive eastern yellowjacket colony that decided to make its nest underground. This nest was massive, and it had thousands of adults inside, and it had swarmed at one point, had stunned the client. He called me to come out and remove the nest for him. Here's the video, check it out. Okay. So this eastern yellowjacket colony built its nest next to the septic cap. So there was a rodent tunnel inside of here. It was right next to the corrugated plastic collar that comes up from the septic tank. And right along that's where the queen started building the nest. So as you can see here, this nest was super active. There were thousands inside of this nest. So I had to sit my vacuum nozzle here at the entranceway and smack on the top of the ground right where I thought the nest was. However, if you kind of look closely when I'm start pounding on the ground, you can start seeing them coming out of the grass. So they had multiple exits and entrances into this nest. So oftentimes people will say to me like, hey, well, why don't you just gas the nest, or why don't you just dump something down inside of it? And usually my explanation is, well, you have no idea if there's multiple entranceways. So you could be dumping fuel or dumping chemicals or dumping soapy water or whatever you wanted to all over this area, and it may not actually ever get to the nest because you don't know where the nest is. So in this case, if there was anything dumped down inside of this cavity, it wouldn't have even gotten to the nest because of where it actually was positioned. So I just spent a lot of time here smacking on the ground. I knew I wasn't going to be able to block up all the little tiny pinholes that they were coming out of the grass from. So I just kind of just aimed right for the entranceway and vacuumed up as many as I could from that spot. And it worked like a charm. I got so many yellowjackets from this spot. It was insane. Now, there are a lot swarming around me, but I just left the vacuum nozzle there for a good period, even just kind of step back a few times. You don't really see that in the video. But you see them, like, just the numbers start diminishing as I let that nozzle sit there and as the video progresses. A lot of what you're seeing here, too, are a lot of males along with workers, and every now and then you'll see a queen come out as well. So I just continue packing on the ground, and that just vibrates the nest. I'm not trying to kill any yellowjackets in the grass or anything like that. I'm merely just pounding on there to make vibrations so they come out of the entranceway. See, there's the queen there. There she is. Well, a queen. That's not the queen. That's a queen. So that's a new queen for this season. And she would have gone off and started her own colony next spring. So usually what I like to do is vacuum up for about maybe 15-20 minutes and then just start digging up the nest. But this one I had to stay here a lot longer because there were so many coming out of it, and I didn't want to just start dishing into the top of this nest and have more of them swarming out from all over the place rather than just kind of centered at this hole. The nice thing about having an entranceway is that not only do ones come out of the nest, but there's foragers returning from foraging that will go right into that hole as well. So here I just kind of stand back and just let foragers come back from foraging, let the swarm die down and going into the nozzle. So you can see here, look how much they're just going, they're flooding right into the entranceway and getting sucked up by the vacuum. There's a lot less coming out of here now, so I knew this is probably a good time to go ahead and start digging up the nest. So I could kind of hear it when I was hammering on the ground with my hand. I could kind of hear the hollow spot. So I did kind of pinpoint one of the little exits that they had. You can see here, this little pinhole. Look at that. So they had carved that out so they could get out from there too. So whenever you see a ground nest, just assume that there's going to be multiple entranceways. So even though I had the vacuum nozzle sitting over at that spot at the entranceway for maybe over a half hour, 40 minutes, and there's still a ton of them coming out from the top of the nest, even now that I start digging it up. And this is like unwrapping a forbidden Christmas present. So I even just sit the nozzle here right above the nest, and you can see the yellowjackets coming back from foraging going right down into that hole, even though that's not the original entranceway. So there's been many times where I just kind of sit back and just let the swarm die down by letting them fly into the nozzle. So gently digging, and I'm using a pry bar, which isn't an ideal digging tool, but I didn't really have a trowel with me, and it actually worked out a lot better than I thought it would. But just trying to just be gentle. I don't want to like stab into the nest, so that's why I don't use like a shovel or anything and jump on a shovel, because I know that I'll just pierce right through the nest, and that's more of a swarming situation that I don't really want to have to deal with. So I'm starting to pull out some of the comb. Now this is the top of the comb, which is usually not that active with yellow jackets. There might be some larvae in there or some pupating adults, which you can kind of see. But for the most part, the top layers are pretty empty because they were the original starting of the nest. And then as the colony progresses, it works its way down deeper into a hole. So workers start digging out more and excavating more soil out so they can make more room for comb. And then the other workers will start building onto that comb, making that main nest bigger and bigger and bigger. So most of the larvae, most of the pupating adults are further down in the lower combs. Another question that people always ask is, why am I letting so many of the yellow jackets go and escape, quote unquote? There's none escaping. When they fly out of the entranceway, if they don't get sucked up by the nozzle, the vacuum at that point, they will get sucked up when they come back, because they'll swarm me, and then they'll go right back to the hole, right back to the entranceway, and then they'll get sucked up in the vacuum then. Look at all this comb I'm pulling out of here. Now, unfortunately, some of this had to be broken apart because the hole wasn't all that big, and I was just trying to get it out. But then I was actually only pulling out in a couple pieces, and then I got to the bigger pieces at the bottom. I did open up the hole a little bit bigger to accommodate for the size of the larger comb, because that had all the larvae and stuff in it. So there's the top of the main part of the comb, and that you can see that it's very, very large, and it had a lot of adults in between the layers. So I did kind of want to keep as much of that together as I could. And look at the size of this thing.
There's more under there.
The homeowner was only standing about 15, 20 feet behind me with his neighbor, and they were just watching the whole thing. The yellow jackets never bothered them at all. But they were very impressed with the amount of yellow jackets and the amount of nest that was coming out of that hole. He had no idea that that was down there. He was mowing his grass, and he came across this spot where the septic tank lid was, and he started getting swarmed and got stung. And that's when he called me. But he had no idea this was under there. And you can see inside this hole, there's the corrugated collar that comes up from the septic tank, and that's where they kind of ran along when they were coming into this space. And all this paper that you see down here is the envelope that they kind of encase around the comb inside this hole. But all the soil that's in here was excavated by them. This was all solid ground, and the only thing that came through here was a mole tunnel. But all these roots and everything were all super smooth and clean. That wasn't me. That was the yellow jackets. They cleaned all the soil off of these roots. And that's just incredible. And even a lot of these stones at the bottom are very, very clean, and they just pick all the dirt right off of them. And this is a decent sized hole, and I really wanted to see how big this hole was as far as like volume was concerned. So the homeowner did have some soil that he was able to give me to fill the hole in, and we were able to get an idea as to how much dirt they actually pulled out of here. And there's the final amount of comb. Look at all that. There's my hand for comparison. That's a decent amount of nest from a eastern yellow jacket colony.
Do you have any extra dirt you need to get rid of? I could tuck it down here.
People always want to see how much soil it takes to fill in these holes, because they really can't comprehend through a screen.
Well, I'm watching how far down your arm went.
Yeah, yep.
So maybe the tractor didn't tilt.
Yeah, right? Because the only thing that was holding this up was probably about 2 inches of soil. That's all I really had to dig through to find the top of the nest. Maybe just a little bit more. I'll roll this to you. Probably about
2 good shovelfuls would probably do it.
Yeah,
Using that spot, that's good.
so that's like 1.5 buckets.
Yeah, 1.5 buckets, exactly.
All right, so opening up the inside of the vacuum, people always ask, what does the inside of the vacuum look like? Even though I've shown this a million times, this is the inside of the vacuum. It's nothing but soil, crushed up envelope, and soggy envelope, and dead yellow jackets. So just bang out the bottom here, and I'll dish through it so you can kind of see what it looked like on the inside. There's really not that much to show because once it gets wet, then it just kind of clumps up, and all the volume that you thought was in there is very minimal. So that was a wild removal. That nest was massive. So I just wanted to take a few minutes just to give you guys an update. So a few weeks back, it had been brought to my attention that someone had stolen a bunch of my content from YouTube and was posting it on TikTok and pretending to be me, impersonating me, even answering comments as me. And if you're watching, you're busted. So at first I didn't really think too much of it. I was like, whatever. I mean, it's promoting the channel. It's whatever. But then I went and actually looked at his channel, and it was literally him trying to be me, but not directing anybody to the YouTube channel or anything. So that really got under my skin. So I contacted TikTok, and they wouldn't listen to me because I didn't have a very big TikTok channel. So saying that he was impersonating me, it was hard to prove that considering his channel was bigger than mine. Well, technically my channel was bigger than my channel, as it turns out. I actually had a legal team go to TikTok and let them know of what was happening. Along with myself, I was just constantly, every single video of mine on his TikTok page, I was filing legal copyright strikes, and I ended up having to file for an actual copyright, a physical copyright through the Federal Copyright Office, and that was just giving me a leg to stand on, even though it was only one video, but I had to pay almost $1,000 for it, which really sucked. I mean, that's like buying back my own content. So between hiring the firm and going after the copyright myself and all the time that I put into it, it basically equates to like thousands of dollars that I had to utilize to get my own content back and get his channel taken down. Really long story short, I ended up doing that. I kind of went overkill with the DMCA company to have them do a copyright strike and takedown on his account. But it was actually my own reporting of the copyright infringement, which is actually what got the ball rolling and got TikTok to recognize it and take down his channel. So his channel is gone. Thank God. So what that means moving forward is just I'm going to be more vigilant and going around on YouTube and TikTok and Reddit and Twitter and Instagram and Facebook and just monitoring for my content being stolen. It doesn't seem like a big deal in some respects, but if you think about it, if this guy was getting like thousands and in some cases millions of views, he was making money on my stuff, which is BS to begin with. But it is drawing attention away from my actual channel and the person who's actually creating the content. And when someone steals your stuff, it is really just, it is like a huge like personal violation. I had someone break into my car when I was a teenager and stole some speakers and subwoofers out of there. They're actually Christmas presents for my brothers. And that level of like violation is very similar to what I'm feeling now, or what I felt then when it was stolen. So, but anyhow, it's water under the bridge at this point. But if you guys happen to notice any content that's obviously not posted by me and is posted by somebody else, and it doesn't credit the channel, then please reach out to me. You can check me out on Facebook or Instagram. You can shoot me messages there. I get a lot of messages. I get a lot of emails, and a lot of them are junk and or just arbitrary questions or whatever that really don't make much sense. So I do have to filter through them, but usually if it's a legitimate question or inquiry, I do end up returning those emails. So don't be discouraged if I don't respond right away. So anyways, that's the update on that. Hopefully I don't have to deal with that ever again. And I've been working on getting my trademark for my logo and my brand, and also getting all the copyrights for all of my videos, which is going to cost me ridiculous money, but it's worth it if no one steals it, right?
Come on, birdies. Hi, Ginger. Dibbit. Hey, Dibbit. Give me ginger.
Alright everyone, thank you so much for tuning in to check out this video. If you guys enjoyed the content, drop in the comments, let me know what you think. If you have any suggestions for future videos or something you'd like to see upcoming in a video, please just drop in the comments, let me know. If you guys enjoyed this video, please hit the like button. It really helps YouTube recognize that people are enjoying the content and helps kind of push it along on the platform. And if you guys haven't subscribed already, please consider doing so and hit the bell notification if you'd like to get an update when I do post a video. Alright everyone, thank you so much for tuning in to check out this video and supporting my channel, and I'll catch you on the next video.